She left with a broken heart. 7 years later, the Alpha found her with triplets. Chapter 1. 7 years earlier. Rain poured from the night sky. The celebration hall glittered with gold light. Music echoed across the Alpha King's territory. Tonight was supposed to be a happy night. For everyone except Ava. She stood near the servants' entrance, holding a tray, trying not to look toward the center of the room, trying not to look at him. Alpha Kale, the future Alpha King, the strongest wolf in the Northern Territories. Every woman watched him. Every warrior respected him. Every elder praised him. And Ava loved him. Quietly, hopelessly. For 3 years, no one knew, not even Kale. She was only a healer's assistant, an Omega, a girl nobody noticed. Or so she thought. Ava. She looked up. Her best friend Mara rushed toward her, breathing hard. Ava, the moon priestess is here. So? Mara grabbed her arm. You don't understand. She's announcing mate bonds tonight. Ava laughed nervously. There are hundreds of wolves here. I know. Mara's eyes widened. But rumors say the future Alpha King will finally meet his mate. The words stabbed deeper than Ava expected. She forced a smile. Then that's wonderful. It wasn't. She hated herself for feeling that way. Kale deserved happiness, even if it wasn't with her. Especially if it wasn't with her. The music stopped. The crowd became silent. The moon priestess stepped onto the stage. Her white robes shimmered beneath the chandeliers. Everyone watched. Everyone waited. The old woman lifted her hands. The moon goddess has spoken. Excited whispers spread through the hall. Ava lowered her gaze. She didn't want to hear it. She didn't want to watch Kale find the love of his life. The future Alpha King's mate is present tonight. Cheers erupted. Women straightened their dresses. Smiles appeared everywhere. Ava quietly stepped backward, toward the door. She couldn't watch this. She couldn't survive watching it. But then the priestess pointed directly at her. The room froze. Ava froze. The tray slipped from her hands. It crashed against the floor. Silence. Absolute silence. The moon goddess has chosen Ava Rivers. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Ava stared at the priestess, certain she had heard wrong. What? The word escaped her lips. The priestess smiled gently. You are Alpha Kale's fated mate. The hall exploded. Shock, gasps, whispers, disbelief. Ava's knees nearly gave out. No, this couldn't be real. Kale was staring at her now, his face unreadable. Their eyes met. For one impossible second, hope filled her chest. Then everything changed. A beautiful woman stepped forward. Lady Celine, daughter of the wealthiest Alpha family in the kingdom, future political ally, perfect in every way. She grabbed Kale's arm. Tell them. The room became quiet again. Kale's jaw tightened. Ava's heart began to race. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. Celine looked directly at Ava and smiled, not kindly, cruelly. Then Kale spoke, his voice cold, sharp, unforgiving. There has been a mistake. Ava stopped breathing. The priestess frowned. There is no mistake. There is. Kale's eyes never left Ava. I reject this bond. The words shattered her. The entire hall gasped. Someone dropped a glass. Ava couldn't hear anything else. Only those 4 words. I reject this bond. The pain hit instantly. Like a blade through her chest, her wolf cried out. Broken, wounded, humiliated. She stared at Kale, waiting, praying, begging silently for him to say something else, anything else. But he didn't. Celine's smile grew wider. The priestess looked horrified. Alpha Kale, do you understand what you're doing? Perfectly. The old woman lowered her voice. The moon goddess does not bless bonds lightly. Kale's expression hardened. I have already chosen my future Luna. Celine stepped beside him proudly. Applause began from one side of the room. Then another. Soon the hall was filled with approval. Approval for her humiliation. Approval for her rejection. Approval for her heartbreak. Ava felt everyone staring, judging, pitying, laughing. She couldn't stay. She couldn't breathe. Without another word, she ran, past the tables, past the musicians, past the guards, out into the storm. The rain soaked her instantly, but it couldn't hide her tears. She ran until her legs gave out. She collapsed beside the river, alone, broken, abandoned by fate itself. Hours passed. The storm never stopped. Neither did the pain. Then she heard footsteps, heavy footsteps, warrior footsteps. Ava wiped her tears, slowly turned, and saw the last person she expected, Alpha Kale, standing in the rain, looking at her as if he had something important to say. Something that might change everything. But before he could speak, an arrow flew from the darkness, straight toward Ava's heart. And Kale threw himself in front of her. The arrow buried itself deep in his chest. Chapter 2. The world seemed to stop. Ava stared, unable to move, unable to think. The arrow protruded from Kale's chest. Blood mixed with rain. Dark red. Too much red. Kale! The name escaped her before she could stop it. His body staggered. But he didn't fall. His wolf strength kept him standing. For now. A second arrow shot from the darkness. Kale spun instantly. A growl exploded from his throat. The arrow missed by inches. It struck a tree behind them. "Run!" he shouted. Ava didn't move. "What? Run, Ava!" More footsteps echoed through the forest. Several people. Not one attacker. A group. Kale's eyes narrowed. "They're coming for you." Ava's stomach dropped. "For me?" He grabbed her wrist. "Move." They ran. Rain crashed through the trees. Branches whipped against their faces. Behind them came the sound of pursuit. Closer. 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 Ava's heart pounded. Nothing made sense. Why would anyone attack her? She was nobody. An Omega. A healer's assistant. A rejected mate. Nothing more. Another arrow flew past. Too close. Much too close. Kale cursed. Then suddenly shoved her behind a fallen tree. "Stay down." Blood continued pouring from his wound. Ava looked at him in horror. "You're losing too much blood." "I know." His voice sounded weaker now. For the first time, fear entered her chest. Real fear. Not heartbreak, not humiliation. Fear, because Kale might die. A shadow emerged between the trees. Then another. Then another. Masked warriors. 5 of them. Kale stepped forward, protectively, placing himself between Ava and the attackers. One warrior laughed. "The Alpha Prince protects the Omega." Another answered. "How romantic." Kale's eyes turned golden. His wolf was near the surface. "Who sent you?" The attackers remained silent. The leader tilted his head. "Hand over the girl." "No." The answer came instantly. Without hesitation. Without thought. Ava stared at him. Confused. Why? Why was he protecting her? He rejected her. He chose someone else. Yet here he stood, bleeding for her. The leader sighed. "Then die with her." The attack began. Everything happened at once. The warriors charged. Kale met them head-on. Despite the arrow wound. Despite the blood loss. He fought like a monster. A true alpha. One attacker crashed into a tree. Another hit the ground. A third screamed. But there were too many. And Kale was weakening. Ava could see it. Every movement slower. Every breath harder. Then one warrior slipped past him, straight toward her. Ava's eyes widened. The blade flashed. Instinct took over. She grabbed a broken branch from the ground. And struck. The branch cracked against the warrior's face. He stumbled. Kale reached him first. A vicious punch sent the attacker flying. Seconds later, distant howls echoed through the forest. Pack warriors. Coming fast. The attackers heard them too. The leader cursed. "Retreat." The group vanished into the darkness. Just like that. Gone. The forest became quiet. Except for the rain. And Kale's ragged breathing. Then his knees buckled. Ava caught him. Or tried to. He was far too heavy. Together they collapsed beneath a tree. Kale. No response. Kale? His eyes opened slightly. Just enough to look at her. You should have run. Ava's voice trembled. You got shot. A weak smile touched his lips. I noticed. Despite everything, she almost laughed. Almost. Then she looked at the arrow again, and panic returned. We have to remove it. No. His voice was sharp. Not here. She frowned. Why? If it's poisoned, removing it wrong could kill me. The words chilled her. Poison. Of course. This wasn't a random attack. Someone wanted him dead. Or wanted her dead. Maybe both. Minutes later, warriors arrived. Dozens of them. Torches illuminated the forest. The captain stopped instantly. Shock filled his face. Alpha Kale! The warriors rushed forward. Everything became chaos. Orders. Questions. Panic. A stretcher appeared. Kale was lifted carefully. Before they carried him away, his hand suddenly closed around Ava's wrist. Everyone froze, including her. His eyes opened slightly. Just enough to speak. Don't let them send her away. The captain blinked. My Alpha? Kale tightened his grip. Protect her. Then he lost consciousness. Completely. Ava stared after him as the warriors carried him toward the pack hospital. Protect her. The words echoed in her mind. Why? Why would he say that? After what happened tonight? Nothing made sense anymore. Nothing. 3 days passed. Kale remained unconscious. The entire kingdom seemed frozen. People whispered everywhere. Some said the future Alpha King was dying. Others said enemies from the southern territories were responsible. And some blamed Ava. Those were the worst rumors. The rejected Omega. The cursed mate. The girl whose arrival brought disaster. Ava heard them all. Every whisper. Every insult. Every accusation. She stayed inside the healer's quarters. Working. Cleaning. Avoiding everyone. Until the 4th morning. A knock came at her door. She opened it slowly. The captain stood outside, his expression serious. The Alpha King wants to see you. Ava froze. The Alpha King? Kale woke up. Her heart skipped. Relief hit first, then confusion, then fear. Why would he want to see me? The captain hesitated. He refused treatment this morning. What? He said he wouldn't speak to anyone. Ava frowned. Why? The captain looked uncomfortable. Then he answered, because he demanded to see his rejected mate first. The words struck her harder than expected. Rejected mate. The title she hated. The title she couldn't escape. Ava followed the captain through the hospital corridors. Every step felt heavier. Nurses watched her. Warriors watched her. Everyone watched her. As if they knew something she didn't. When they reached Kale's room, the captain stopped. He dismissed everyone. Ava swallowed, then entered. The room was quiet. Sunlight filtered through the window. Kale sat upright in bed. Pale. Injured. But very much alive. His eyes found hers instantly. Neither spoke. Several seconds passed. Heavy seconds. Painful seconds. Finally Kale broke the silence. You were supposed to leave. Ava blinked. What? His expression darkened. I made sure you would hate me. Her heart tightened. The words made no sense. Then Kale looked directly into her eyes and spoke the sentence that changed everything. I rejected you to save your life. Chapter 3. Ava stared at him, certain she had heard wrong. The room suddenly felt smaller, quieter, warmer, dangerously warmer. What did you say? Kale didn't look away. I rejected you to save your life. Ava laughed. A short laugh. A broken laugh. Because the alternative was crying. Again. For 7 years I dreamed you might explain. His jaw tightened. For 7 years I imagined every possible reason. She took a step closer. But I never imagined that one. Kale remained silent. Ava felt anger rising. Hot, sharp, painful. You humiliated me in front of everyone. His eyes lowered briefly. I know. You broke the mate bond. I know. You destroyed my wolf. The words hit harder. Because they were true. For years she had felt incomplete, wounded, different. Something inside her had never fully healed. Kale's voice dropped. I know. Ava's eyes filled with tears. Then she wiped them away. No. She shook her head. You don't know. Silence stretched between them. Finally, Kale exhaled. Sit down. I'm not staying. Ava. No. Her voice cracked. You don't get to explain everything with one sentence. For the first time, frustration crossed his face. Good. Let him feel uncomfortable. She had lived with pain for years. He could survive discomfort for 5 minutes. Kale leaned back carefully. The wound still bothered him. She could tell. But he ignored it. There was a prophecy. Ava froze. A prophecy? Now he sounded insane. What prophecy? Kale looked toward the window, as if deciding whether to continue. Then he spoke. The moon priestess visited me 6 months before the ceremony. A chill moved through Ava. Why? Because she saw something. His voice became quieter. Danger. Ava folded her arms. What kind of danger? Kale hesitated, then answered. Your death? The room fell silent. Ava stared, waiting for him to smile. To admit this was some terrible joke, but he didn't. His face remained serious. You expect me to believe that? No. His honesty surprised her. I don't expect you to believe anything. Good, because I didn't believe it either. That stopped her. Kale continued. The priestess told me my mate would become the center of a war. Ava frowned. A war? Several packs wanted control of the northern territories. His eyes hardened. Whoever controlled my mate could control me. Ava slowly sat down, not because she trusted him, because she needed answers. Kale noticed, and continued. The prophecy said my mate would die before her 23rd birthday. Ava swallowed. She was 22 now. The realization made her uncomfortable. That's ridiculous. I thought so too. His expression darkened. Then the attacks started. What attacks? Poisoned gifts. Ava blinked. What? Assassins. Her eyes widened. Assassins? Spies. Kale nodded. Every month another attempt. Ava's stomach tightened. She had never known. Never heard rumors. Nothing. Kale rubbed a hand across his face. I spent months trying to discover who was behind it. Did you? No. The answer came immediately. And then the priestess told me who my mate was. His eyes met hers. You. Ava looked away first. The emotion there felt too real, too raw, too dangerous. So, you rejected me. Yes. Without asking me. Yes. Without explaining. Yes. Anger returned. You arrogant idiot. To her surprise, Kale nodded. Probably. That wasn't the response she expected. Not at all. She wanted a fight. An argument. Excuses. Instead, he simply accepted the insult. Ava hated that. Because it made staying angry harder. Not impossible. Just harder. You should have trusted me. Kale looked down. You're right. The room became quiet again. For several moments neither spoke. Then Ava asked the question that had haunted her for years. Do you love Celine? Kale's eyes narrowed. No. The answer came instantly. No hesitation, no uncertainty. Just no. Ava frowned. Then why choose her? A shadow crossed his face. Something dark, something unpleasant. Politics. The word sounded bitter. My father arranged it. That surprised her. The former Alpha King was ruthless. Everyone knew that. But even so. You agreed? I thought I had to. His voice sounded tired. Older somehow. Ava studied him carefully. For the first time she noticed something strange. Regret. Not recent regret. Old regret. The kind that lived inside someone. The kind that never left. Before she could speak, a knock interrupted them. 3 sharp knocks. Kale immediately tensed. His wolf surfaced. She could feel it. Even without a bond. Come in. The door opened, and Lady Celine entered. Ava's stomach dropped instantly. Some people became prettier with age. Celine was one of them. Elegant, confident, perfectly dressed, and smiling. At first. Then she saw Ava. The smile disappeared. Immediately. The temperature in the room seemed to fall. Celine's eyes moved between them. Slowly. Carefully. Calculating. "You're awake." Kale nodded. "Obviously." Celine ignored the coldness. Instead, she walked closer, then stopped beside his bed. Too close. Far too close. Ava hated how much that bothered her. "You frightened everyone." Celine reached for Kale's hand. He pulled it away. The movement was subtle, but Ava noticed. So did Celine. For one brief second, anger flashed across the woman's face. Then it vanished, like it had never existed. Interesting. Very interesting. Celine turned toward Ava. "What are you doing here?" Ava opened her mouth. Kale answered first. "I asked her to come." Celine's smile became rigid. "I see. No, she didn't like that. Not one bit." The room suddenly felt full of invisible weapons. Polite smiles. Sharp words. Hidden hostility. Ava hated it. Celine folded her hands. "The council meeting is tomorrow." Kale frowned. "Already?" "Your father insisted." That got his attention. "The former alpha is here?" "Since yesterday." Ava noticed the change immediately. The moment Kale heard those words, something hardened inside him. Something defensive. Something angry. Interesting. Very interesting. Celine moved toward the door, then paused, as if remembering something. "There is one more thing." Kale looked up. "What?" Celine's eyes shifted toward Ava, then back to him. "A prisoner was captured last night." The room became silent. Kale's expression darkened. "One of the attackers?" "Yes." Ava's pulse quickened. Finally. Answers. Maybe now they would learn who wanted her dead. "Did he talk?" Kale asked. Celine nodded slowly. "Enough." "What did he say?" For the first time, uncertainty appeared in her eyes. Ava noticed it immediately. So did Kale. "Celine." The woman's face tightened. Then she finally answered. "The assassin claimed someone inside the royal pack hired him." A chill spread through the room. Inside the royal pack? Impossible. Kale's jaw clenched. "Who?" Celine hesitated. 1 second. 2 seconds. 3. Too long. Much too long. Then she spoke. And the name that left her lips made Ava's blood run cold. "The assassin said the order came from your father." Chapter 4. The room fell silent. No one moved. No one spoke. Ava looked at Kale. Kale looked at Celine. And Celine looked strangely uncomfortable. "The former alpha?" Kale asked quietly. Celine nodded. "That's what the prisoner claimed." Kale's expression hardened. "My father would never hire assassins." The certainty in his voice surprised Ava. Not because she trusted the former alpha. She didn't. Everyone knew he was ruthless. But Kale sounded completely convinced. Celine crossed her arms. "Perhaps." "Not perhaps." Kale's eyes sharpened. "My father values power above everything." "Exactly. He would exile someone." Kale leaned forward. "Manipulate them." His voice became colder. "Destroy them politically." A pause. "But he doesn't hire killers." Ava wasn't sure whether to agree or worry. Because blind trust could be dangerous, especially in powerful families. Celine sighed. "The council wants answers." "They'll get them." Kale stood from the bed. Immediately. Far too quickly. Pain crossed his face. His wound clearly wasn't healed. Ava reacted before thinking. "Sit down." Both of them looked at her. She immediately regretted speaking, but not enough to stay quiet. "You can barely stand." Kale opened his mouth. Ava pointed at the bed. "Sit." For a moment nobody moved. Then something unexpected happened. Kale sat down, without arguing. Celine blinked. Ava blinked. Even Kale looked surprised. A strange silence followed. Then Celine cleared her throat. "I should go." Nobody stopped her. As she reached the door, she paused. Then looked back at Ava. There was something strange in her eyes. Not hatred. Not exactly. Fear. Just for a second. Then it disappeared, and she left. The door closed. Ava immediately noticed Kale watching her. What? His lips twitched. You ordered me around. She frowned. You were being stupid. A pause. Then Kale laughed. Actually laughed. The sound startled her. She had never heard him laugh before. Not like that. Not genuinely. And suddenly he looked younger. Less like an alpha. More like a man. The realization made her uncomfortable. Dangerously uncomfortable. So she changed the subject. Why was Celine afraid? Kale's smile vanished. His eyes narrowed. You noticed? Yes. He leaned back, thinking. Celine doesn't fear many things. That wasn't an answer. No. A faint smile returned. It wasn't. Ava rolled her eyes. For some reason that made him smile more. Then his expression turned serious. I need a favor. Immediately suspicious, she crossed her arms. What kind of favor? I need you to help question the prisoner. Ava stared. What? The assassin. No. The answer came instantly. Kale blinked. No? No. She stood. I heal people. She pointed at herself. I don't interrogate criminals. You don't have to interrogate him. Good. You just need to be there. Ava frowned. Why? Kale hesitated. Then answered carefully. Because he asked for you. The room became quiet. Ava's stomach dropped. He what? He specifically requested to see you. Fear slid down her spine. Cold. Unwelcome. Dangerous. Why? Kale shook his head. We don't know. That was worse. Much worse. Hours later, they stood beneath the pack prison, deep underground. The air felt cold, heavy, unpleasant. Ava hated it immediately. Torches flickered along stone walls. Guards stood everywhere. Kale walked beside her, still injured, still stubborn. You shouldn't be here. He glanced sideways. You're saying that while standing here yourself. That's different. It isn't. She opened her mouth, then closed it. Unfortunately, he had a point. A guard approached. My alpha. Kale nodded. The prisoner? Waiting. The guard looked nervous. He's been asking for the Omega all day. Ava hated hearing herself described that way. Especially now. The guard unlocked a heavy door. The hinges groaned. Inside sat a thin man in chains. Bruised, dirty, exhausted. Yet the moment he saw Ava, he smiled. A strange smile. A knowing smile. Ava instantly disliked him. The prisoner chuckled. There you are. Kale stepped forward. You wanted to see her. I did. Why? The prisoner ignored him completely. His eyes remained fixed on Ava. You look just like your mother. The words hit like lightning. Ava froze. My mother? The prisoner nodded. Almost identical. Every muscle in her body tightened. Her mother had died when she was 10. Nobody talked about her. Nobody. Kale noticed her reaction immediately. You know her mother? The prisoner laughed softly. Oh yes. Ava took a step closer. Who are you? The man tilted his head, as if surprised she didn't know. Then he smiled. Sadly. You really don't remember me. Fear mixed with confusion. I've never seen you before. No. His smile faded. You were too young. Ava's pulse quickened. What are you talking about? The prisoner's eyes became serious. For the first time, very serious. I knew your mother before you were born. The room became silent. Kale exchanged a glance with the guards. Nobody interrupted. Nobody breathed. The prisoner continued. She saved my life once. Ava stared. My mother was a healer. She was much more than that. The answer came instantly. Without hesitation, Ava frowned. What does that mean? The prisoner's smile vanished completely. Then he spoke words that made her heart stop. Your mother wasn't an Omega. Ava froze. What? She wasn't an Omega. The prisoner leaned forward. She wasn't even from this territory. Nothing made sense anymore. Nothing. My mother lived here her entire life. No. The prisoner's eyes filled with certainty. That's what they told you. Ava's stomach twisted. They? The man looked toward Kale, then back at her, and suddenly he seemed afraid. As if speaking too much could get him killed. Interesting. Very interesting. Kale stepped closer. Who are you talking about? The prisoner hesitated. Ava saw the fear, real fear. Then he whispered one name. A name nobody expected. A name that made even Kale go pale. The former Alpha. Silence. Absolute silence. The prisoner swallowed, then looked directly into Ava's eyes. Your mother ran from him. Ava's heart hammered. What? The man nodded slowly, painfully, as if remembering something terrible. She spent years hiding you. Every word made less sense. Hiding me from what? The prisoner's voice dropped to a whisper. Not what. A pause. A horrible pause. Then he finished. Hiding you from who? Ava couldn't breathe. Kale couldn't speak. And the prisoner delivered the final blow. The former Alpha knew exactly who you were. Chapter 5. The prison cell became deathly quiet. Ava's heartbeat thundered in her ears. The former Alpha knew exactly who you were. The words refused to leave her mind. No. She shook her head. No. That's impossible. The prisoner watched her carefully, almost sadly. I wish it were. Ava stepped backward. Her legs suddenly felt weak. My mother was a healer. Yes. She lived in Riverstone Village. Yes. She died from fever. The prisoner's expression darkened. No. The single word hit her harder than a scream. Ava froze. What did you say? The man swallowed, then looked away, as if ashamed. Your mother didn't die from fever. The room spun. Kale immediately moved closer. Not touching her, just close enough to catch her if she fell. Ava barely noticed. Her entire world was cracking apart. What happened to her? The prisoner's jaw tightened. She was murdered. The words exploded through the cell. Ava stopped breathing. Murdered. Not sick. Not weak. Not unlucky. Murdered. No. Her voice broke. No. Tears filled her eyes instantly. My mother died in her bed. That's what they wanted you to believe. The prisoner's chains rattled as he shifted forward. They poisoned her. Ava's knees nearly gave out. Kale caught her arm. Steady, strong, warm. She didn't pull away. Not this time. Because she couldn't. Her entire body was shaking. Who poisoned her? The question barely escaped her lips. The prisoner hesitated. Dangerous hesitation. The kind that revealed fear. Real fear. Then, he whispered. I don't know. Kale immediately frowned. You just named the former Alpha. The prisoner looked frustrated. I said he knew. That's different. It is. The man nodded quickly. Very different. Ava wiped tears from her face, forcing herself to focus, forcing herself to think. What aren't you telling us? The prisoner looked at her, then at the guards, then at Kale. Finally he laughed. A hollow laugh. A broken laugh. I'm already dead. Nobody answered. Because everyone knew he was right. Whether the council executed him or not, someone would silence him. Soon. Very soon. The prisoner lowered his voice. Your mother belonged to a bloodline. Ava frowned. What bloodline? One that disappeared. The answer only created more questions. Kale stepped forward. What bloodline? The prisoner's eyes shifted toward him, then narrowed. You really don't know. Kale's expression darkened. Know what? The man looked genuinely shocked. Then something clicked in his mind. And suddenly he became afraid. Very afraid. As if he had realized something important. Something dangerous. Of course. The prisoner laughed again. That's why? Kale's patience snapped. Why what? The prisoner stared directly at him. That's why they rejected the bond. Silence. Ava felt ice spread through her veins. They? The prisoner nodded. They? Kale's voice became deadly calm. Who? But before the prisoner could answer, a scream echoed through the prison. Everyone froze. A second scream followed. Then shouting. Then chaos. The guards immediately drew weapons. What was that? Footsteps thundered through the corridor. A warrior burst into the room, covered in blood. My alpha! Kale turned instantly. What happened? The warrior looked terrified. The prisoners are escaping. Ava frowned. Escaping? The warrior shook his head violently. No. His face turned pale. Someone is killing them. The room froze. Every prisoner? Every witness? Every loose end? The answer was obvious. Someone was cleaning up evidence. Fast. Very fast. Kale moved immediately. Lock this prisoner down. The man laughed. Too late. Everyone looked toward him. His smile had become strangely peaceful, almost relieved. Then Ava smelled it. Poison. Her healer instincts screamed. Wait! She rushed forward. The prisoner was already collapsing. Foam appeared at the corner of his mouth. His eyes rolled back. No! Ava grabbed his shoulders, trying to help, trying to save him. But she already knew. Too late. Way too late. The prisoner looked directly at her. One final time. His voice barely audible. They're afraid of your children. Ava froze. Children? What children? She didn't have children. Confusion flashed through her eyes. The prisoner smiled weakly, as if realizing his mistake, or perhaps revealing too much. Then he whispered his final words. The stars were right. And died. The room fell silent. Ava stared at the body, her hands trembling. Nothing made sense anymore. Children? Bloodlines? Murder? Prophecies? Secrets? Everything felt connected. But she couldn't see how. Not yet. Hours later, the entire pack territory was in chaos. 3 prisoners dead, 2 guards poisoned, 1 escaped assassin missing, and no answers. Ava sat alone inside the healer's quarters, trying to think, trying to breathe, trying not to break apart. A soft knock came at the door. She didn't answer. The door opened anyway. Kale stepped inside. Neither spoke at first. The silence felt strangely comfortable, which bothered her. Because it shouldn't. Finally, Kale sat across from her. You should sleep. Ava laughed bitterly. That's funny. His lips twitched slightly. Then his expression turned serious. I'm sorry. She looked up. What for? Everything. The answer seemed obvious, but Kale surprised her. For your mother. Ava's eyes filled again, not because of the words, because he sounded sincere, completely sincere. For several moments neither spoke. Then Kale asked quietly, What do you remember about her? Ava looked toward the window, thinking, remembering. She was kind. A small smile appeared. She always sang while working. Kale listened carefully, not interrupting. She loved flowers. Ava swallowed. Especially moon lilies. The moment she said it, something changed. Kale froze. Completely froze. Ava noticed instantly. What? He stared at her, too intensely, too suddenly. What did you say? Moon lilies. Kale stood, immediately, his face pale. Ava. A knot formed in her stomach. What? Are you sure? Yes. His expression became unreadable, dangerous, shocked, impossible. Ava slowly stood as well. What is it? Kale looked like a man who had just solved a mystery, or discovered a nightmare. Maybe both. Then he whispered, Moon lilies only grow in one place. The room became silent. Ava frowned. So? Kale swallowed. His eyes locked onto hers. They grow inside the lost territory of House Valerian. Ava blinked. The name meant nothing, but clearly it meant something to him. Something enormous. Because Kale looked shaken. Deeply shaken. What is House Valerian? For several seconds he didn't answer. Then finally he spoke. And the truth changed everything. Not what. A pause. A terrible pause. Then, who? Ava's heartbeat quickened. Kale's voice dropped lower. House Valerian was the royal bloodline that ruled all wolf territories before they were wiped out. Silence. Absolute silence. Then Kale delivered the final revelation, and according to every history book, he stared directly into her eyes. The last surviving daughter died 23 years ago. Chapter 6. Ava couldn't speak. The last surviving daughter died 23 years ago. The words echoed through her mind. Again, and again, and again. No. She shook her head. No, that's impossible. Kale looked like he wished it were. I agree. Ava laughed nervously. My mother was a healer. A healer can still belong to a royal bloodline. I grew up poor. So did many people in hiding. Ava stepped away from him. Frustrated. Overwhelmed. Terrified. Every answer seemed to create 10 more questions. I don't want to hear this. Kale's expression softened. I know. Then stop. Ava, stop. Her voice cracked. She hated that. She hated feeling weak, hated feeling confused. For 22 years, she had known exactly who she was. Now every piece of that identity was being ripped away. A healer, an omega, an orphan, nobody special, nobody important, nobody worth hunting. Now, nothing felt certain anymore. Kale remained quiet, giving her space. For once. Eventually, Ava sat down, exhausted. What happened to House Valerian? Kale hesitated, then answered. Officially? She nodded. They were murdered. A chill ran through her. All of them? Almost. The word caught her attention. Almost. Not completely. Almost. Kale sat across from her. The Valerians ruled centuries ago. His voice was calm. Steady. They united the wolf territories. Ava listened despite herself. Most packs were constantly fighting. Kale continued. Border wars. Power struggles. Blood feuds. And they stopped it? For a while. He nodded. Then someone betrayed them. Ava's stomach tightened. Betrayed how? No one knows. That surprised her. What? Kale sighed. The records are incomplete. Convenient. A faint smile appeared. Very. Then his expression darkened. One night the royal family disappeared. Ava frowned. Disappeared? Most bodies were never found. That somehow felt worse. Much worse. What happened after that? The kingdoms fractured. Kale leaned back. Several alpha families seized power. Ava immediately understood. Power. Always power. It explained almost everything. Almost. But why would anyone care now? Kale looked at her carefully. Because the answer was obvious, at least to him. If a Valerian survived, his voice lowered, they would have a stronger claim to leadership than any alpha alive. The room became silent. Ava finally understood. Not completely, but enough. If she really belonged to that bloodline, people would fear her, use her, control her, kill her. The realization made her sick. A knock interrupted them. Sharp, urgent. Kale immediately stood. Enter. The door opened. Captain Rowan stepped inside. His face looked grim. Very grim. Alpha. Kale frowned. What happened? The captain hesitated, then answered. The former Alpha has arrived. Silence. Ava's stomach dropped. The former Alpha, Kale's father, the man connected to every mystery, every secret, every lie. Kale's jaw tightened. Where is he? The council chamber. Captain Rowan glanced toward Ava, then back to Kale. He specifically requested her presence. Ava froze. What? The captain nodded. He wants to meet her. Every instinct screamed no. Absolutely not. Kale seemed to agree, because his expression turned dangerous instantly. No. Rowan blinked. My Alpha? No. The word came out like a growl. She isn't going. Relief flooded Ava, briefly. Then Rowan spoke again. The council insists. The relief vanished. Of course, nothing was ever simple. 1 hour later, Ava stood outside the council chamber, trying not to panic, trying not to run. Massive wooden doors towered before her. Warriors lined the hallway. The atmosphere felt tense, wrong, dangerous. Kale stood beside her, still injured, still stubborn, still refusing to leave her alone. Stay close. Ava glanced sideways. You think he'll attack me? No. The answer came instantly. That surprised her. Then why? Kale looked toward the doors. Because he doesn't trust himself. The unspoken words seemed clear. Before she could ask, the doors opened. The council chamber waited beyond. Large. Grand. Filled with powerful people, alpha leaders, elders, advisors, and at the center, the former alpha. Ava stopped breathing. He looked older than Kale, of course, but the resemblance was undeniable. Same dark hair, same sharp eyes, same powerful presence. The difference was the coldness. Kale felt controlled. His father felt dangerous, like a wolf hiding behind a smile. The former alpha rose slowly and looked directly at Ava. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then something unexpected happened. Shock flashed across his face. Real shock, not fake. Not political, real. His hands tightened, just slightly, but Ava noticed. So did Kale. Interesting. Very interesting. The former alpha recovered quickly. Too quickly. But not before everyone saw it. Well, his voice remained calm. Now I understand. Ava frowned. Understand what? The room became silent. Every eye turned toward her. Then toward him. The former alpha smiled sadly, almost regretfully, and said the last thing she expected. You look exactly like your grandmother. The chamber exploded with whispers. Instantly, Ava froze. Grandmother? What grandmother? The former alpha continued watching her. Not like a stranger, not like an enemy, like someone staring at a ghost. Kale stepped forward, protectively, immediately. My father. The warning in his voice was obvious. The former alpha ignored it. Instead, he looked at Ava and spoke softly. I've been searching for you for 22 years. The world seemed to tilt. Ava stared, unable to process what she had heard. Searching? For her? Why? The former alpha sighed heavily. For the first time he looked tired. Not powerful. Not dangerous, just tired. Then he spoke words that shattered everything Ava believed. Your mother was my sister. Silence. Absolute silence. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Kale went pale. The council froze. Even Captain Rowan looked stunned. Ava's heart stopped. Her mother? His sister? That meant... No. Impossible. Completely impossible. The former alpha looked directly into her eyes and delivered the final blow. Ava, his voice trembled. Just slightly. You are my niece. Chapter 7. No. The word escaped Ava instantly, without thought, without hesitation. No. Absolutely not. The council chamber blurred around her. She could hear people whispering, could feel dozens of eyes watching. But none of it mattered. Only one thing mattered. The man standing before her. The former alpha. The man claiming to be her uncle. Her family. Her blood. No. She repeated it. Stronger this time. The former alpha didn't argue, didn't interrupt, didn't force her to believe, which somehow made it worse. Kale stepped closer, close enough that his shoulder almost touched hers. A silent promise. You're not alone. Ava hated how much comfort that gave her. The former alpha exhaled slowly. I expected this reaction. You lied to me, her voice shook. For my entire life. His eyes darkened. I never met you. Then why hide me? The question exploded from her. The entire chamber fell silent. The former alpha closed his eyes briefly. Pain crossed his face. Real pain. Then he answered, because your mother asked me to. Ava froze. What? The answer didn't fit. Didn't make sense. You expect me to believe that? No. The former alpha opened his eyes again. But it's the truth. Ava's anger returned instantly. Good. Anger felt easier than confusion. My mother hid me from everyone. Yes. Why? A shadow crossed his face. The same shadow she'd seen on Kale before. Fear. Old fear. Buried fear. My family made enemies. The chamber remained silent. No one interrupted. No one dared. The former Alpha continued. When the Valerians disappeared, several powerful packs gained control. Ava listened despite herself. They built their power on that tragedy. His voice hardened. If a surviving heir appeared, they would lose everything. The realization hit her immediately. Property, territory, titles, power, money, everything. The former Alpha nodded, as if reading her thoughts. Your mother understood that. Ava's chest tightened. So she ran. Yes. Alone? The former Alpha's expression broke slightly. No. A pause. Then, with your father. Ava froze. Her father, the subject nobody ever discussed. The mystery she'd lived with her entire life. The former Alpha swallowed. He died protecting both of you. The room spun again. Too much. Everything was too much. Her mother wasn't who she thought. Her father wasn't who she thought. Her life wasn't who she thought. Nothing remained. Nothing. Ava turned away. Needing space. Needing air. Needing anything. The council chamber suddenly felt suffocating. Kale immediately followed. Ava, don't. Her voice cracked. Please. He stopped. Immediately. Respecting the boundary. That hurt too. Because 7 years ago, he hadn't respected anything. Hours later, Ava sat alone beside the lake outside the territory. The water reflected the evening sky. Orange. Gold. Beautiful. She couldn't enjoy any of it. Her entire world had shattered. A familiar voice interrupted her thoughts. You always came here when you were upset. Ava looked up. Kale? Of course. She should have known. He sat several feet away. Not close. Not far. Giving her space. Again. Neither spoke for several moments. Then Ava sighed. Why are you here? Kale looked at the lake. Because you're hurting. The honesty caught her off guard. No excuses. No games. Just truth. Ava stared at the water. I don't know who I am anymore. The confession felt vulnerable. Dangerously vulnerable. Kale remained quiet. Listening. Waiting. My whole life feels fake. Her voice softened. Every memory. Every story. Every answer. Every explanation. All of it. A lie. Kale finally spoke. Your life wasn't fake. Ava laughed bitterly. Really? Really? His voice remained steady. Your mother loved you. Ava swallowed. Hard. Your friends care about you. The knot in her throat tightened. You became a healer. A pause. Then, you chose kindness. Ava looked toward him. His eyes met hers. You chose that yourself. For several seconds neither looked away. Something shifted. Small. Quiet. But real. Trust. The first fragile piece. After years of pain. Years of anger. Years of regret. Trust. Then, the moment shattered. A howl echoed across the territory. Long. Urgent. Dangerous. Kale stood instantly. His wolf surfaced. Ava felt it immediately. What is it? A second howl followed. Then a third. Then alarms. Real alarms. The territory exploded into chaos. Warriors rushed everywhere. People shouted. Orders flew through the air. Kale's face darkened. Stay here. Ava immediately stood. No. Ava? No. She folded her arms. I'm not hiding. His eyes narrowed. Before he could argue, Captain Rowan appeared. Breathing hard. Covered in dust. My Alpha. Kale turned instantly. What happened? The captain's face had gone pale. The council chamber. Ava's stomach dropped. What about it? Rowan looked directly at her. And suddenly she knew. Something terrible had happened. Something awful. The former Alpha is gone. Silence. Kale frowned. Gone. He disappeared. The captain swallowed. Along with 3 council members. Ava felt cold. Very cold. As if winter had suddenly arrived. Kidnapped? Rowan shook his head. No. Fear spread through her chest. Then what? The captain answered. And every word made the situation worse. A secret tunnel was discovered beneath the council chamber. Kale's expression darkened. Where does it lead? Rowan looked toward the forest. The oldest part of the territory. The forbidden part. The abandoned part. Then he answered. Toward the ruins of House Valerian. Ava's heartbeat accelerated. The ruins. The royal bloodline. The place connected to her mother. Connected to her past. Connected to everything. Kale immediately understood. So did she. This wasn't an escape. This wasn't a coincidence. Someone had taken the former Alpha there. For a reason. A terrible reason. Then Rowan delivered the news that changed everything. The former Alpha left a message. Kale froze. What message? The captain looked directly at Ava, his face pale, his voice grim. Then he spoke. Tell Ava the truth is buried beneath the moon tower. The world seemed to stop. Moon tower. The name meant nothing to Ava. But Kale's reaction said everything. His face lost all color, every bit of it. Ava's stomach dropped. Kale. He didn't answer. Kale. Slowly. He looked at her. Fear filled his eyes. Real fear. The kind she'd never seen before. Then he whispered 4 words. And those 4 words changed everything. The moon tower never existed. Chapter 8. The moon tower never existed. Ava stared at him. What does that mean? Kale looked genuinely shaken. Not surprised. Not confused. Shaken. As if reality itself had shifted beneath his feet. Captain Rowan frowned. My Alpha? Kale ran a hand through his hair. The moon tower is a myth. Silence followed. Ava folded her arms. A myth? Yes. His voice remained tense. An old story. A story about what? Kale looked toward the dark forest. Toward the ruins of House Valerian. Then answered. A hidden place. A chill moved through Ava. What kind of hidden place? No one knows. That answer frustrated her instantly. Wonderful. Kale ignored the sarcasm. The legends say the Valerians built it. Ava listened carefully. Why? To protect something. Of course. Everything was a secret. Everything was hidden. Everything was protected. Ava was beginning to hate mysteries, especially when they involved her life. Captain Rowan cleared his throat. What now? Kale answered immediately. We go to the ruins. Ava nodded. Agreed. Both men looked at her. No. The word came from Kale instantly. Ava rolled her eyes. Here we go. No? No. He crossed his arms. You stay here. Ava laughed. Actually laughed. Because the idea was ridiculous. The message was left for me. Exactly. And someone kidnapped my uncle. Kale's jaw tightened. We don't even know if he's alive. The words hit harder than expected. Because despite everything, despite the lies, despite the secrets, the former Alpha was family. The only family she had left. Ava straightened. I'm coming. No. Yes. No. Yes. Captain Rowan quietly stepped backward. Very smart man. He wanted no part of this argument. Kale stared at her. Ava stared back. Neither moved. Finally he sighed. A long, defeated sigh. I hate when you do that. A tiny smile appeared on her lips. Do what? Win. The answer surprised her. And for the briefest moment, both of them smiled. Then the reality of the situation returned, and the smiles disappeared. 3 hours later, they entered the ruins. Moonlight illuminated broken stone walls, collapsed towers, ancient pathways. The place felt abandoned, forgotten, yet somehow alive, as if it remembered what it once was. Ava slowed. The moment she stepped inside the ruins, something felt strange. Very strange. Almost familiar. Kale noticed immediately. What is it? She looked around, confused. I don't know. The answer sounded ridiculous, yet it was true. The place felt familiar, impossible, but familiar, as if she'd been here before. No, not here, somewhere like it. Captain Rowan moved ahead with several warriors, searching, watching, protecting. The deeper they traveled, The quieter the forest became. No birds. No insects. Nothing. Ava hated it. Then something caught her eye. A symbol. Carved into a stone wall. A crescent moon. Surrounded by stars. The moment she saw it, pain exploded inside her head. A memory. Sudden. Violent. Unexpected. A woman laughing. Silver hair dancing in sunlight. Warm hands lifting her into the air. A voice. Soft. Gentle. Loving. My little star. Ava gasped. The memory vanished instantly. Kale reached her first. Ava! She grabbed his arm, breathing hard. My mother! What? I remembered her. Kale froze. What did you see? What? Ava closed her eyes, trying to hold on to the memory, but it was already fading. I don't know. Frustration filled her. It disappeared. Kale looked toward the symbol, then back at her. Interesting. Very interesting. Before either could speak, a warrior shouted, My Alpha! Everyone turned. Captain Rowan stood near a collapsed staircase, his face pale. Very pale. Kale moved immediately. Ava followed. The staircase descended underground. Deep underground. Hidden beneath centuries of stone. Captain Rowan pointed. We found it. Kale looked down. His expression darkened. The tunnel? Ava's pulse quickened. The secret passage. The one connected to the message. The one connected to the former Alpha. The one connected to the truth. Together they descended. The air grew colder, older. Dust covered everything. The tunnel stretched far beneath the ruins. Ancient torches lined the walls. Long dead. Long forgotten. Then they reached a door. Massive. Stone. Covered with the same crescent moon symbol. Ava stared. And suddenly another memory hit. Hard. A woman kneeling beside her. Placing a necklace around her neck. A silver necklace. Moon-shaped. The woman smiling sadly. Never lose this. Ava stopped walking. Her hand flew to her throat. The necklace. The one she'd worn her entire life. The one her mother gave her. The one hidden beneath her shirt right now. Her heartbeat accelerated. Slowly she pulled it free. Moon-shaped silver. Exactly like the symbol. Everyone froze. Captain Rowan looked stunned. Kale looked worse. Much worse. Because he understood immediately. The necklace wasn't jewelry. It was a key. Ava stepped toward the door. Without thinking, without planning, the necklace suddenly began glowing. Soft silver light. The warriors gasped. Someone whispered a prayer. The stone door trembled, then moved. Slowly. Ancient gears groaned. Dust filled the air. And the door opened. Beyond it waited a hidden chamber. Untouched by time. Untouched by history. Untouched by everyone. The moon tower. Real. Not a myth. Not a legend. Real. Ava stepped inside and immediately saw him. The former Alpha. Alive. Chained to a stone pillar. Relief flooded through her. Briefly. Very briefly. Because then she saw who stood beside him. A woman. Tall. Beautiful. Silver-haired. Her eyes identical to Ava's. The woman smiled. Slowly. Almost warmly. Then she spoke words that shattered reality. Ava. The room fell silent. The woman tilted her head, as if studying her, as if admiring her. Then she smiled again, and said, It's good to finally meet my daughter. Chapter 9. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Nobody spoke. Ava stared at the woman. The woman stared back. Smiling, calm, patient, as if she had all the time in the world. It's good to finally meet my daughter. The words echoed through the chamber. Again, and again, and again. Ava's mind refused to process them. Her voice failed. The woman nodded gently. Yes. No. Impossible. Completely impossible. My mother died. The woman sighed softly. I know that's what you were told. Ava felt dizzy, angry, terrified, hopeful, all at once. The emotions crashed together until she could barely think. You are not my mother. The woman smiled sadly. I understand. No. Ava shook her head. My mother died. The woman looked away briefly. Pain flashed across her face. Real pain. Then she looked back. I wanted to come for you. Ava's chest tightened. I couldn't. The chamber remained silent. Even the warriors seemed afraid to interrupt. The woman took a step forward. My name is Alara. The name struck something deep inside Ava. A faint memory, a lullaby, a voice, a smile. Gone before she could grasp it. Alara swallowed. I never stopped searching for you. Ava laughed bitterly. The sound echoed through the chamber. Really? Her voice cracked. 22 years. The smile disappeared from Alara's face. Pain replaced it. Every day. Ava hated that answer. Because part of her wanted to believe it. Part of her desperately wanted to believe it. The former alpha suddenly spoke. She's telling the truth. Everyone turned. The chains rattled as he shifted. She disappeared the night of the attack. Ava frowned. What attack? Alara's expression darkened. The attack that destroyed House Valerian. Silence. The room suddenly felt colder. Much colder. Kale stepped forward. You survived. Alara looked toward him. I did. And everyone believed you were dead. That was the idea. The answer came quietly, without pride, without satisfaction, only exhaustion. Ava's pulse quickened. What happened? Alara closed her eyes briefly, as if remembering hurt. Perhaps it did. Then she answered. We were betrayed. The same words again. Always the same words. Betrayal. Secrets. Lies. But by who? Alara looked toward the former alpha, then toward Ava, then finally answered. Someone you already know. A chill spread through the chamber. Kale immediately tensed. So tell us. Alara's gaze shifted, toward the entrance, toward the darkness behind them. And suddenly Ava realized something. The woman wasn't afraid. Not at all. She was waiting. For someone. Or something. Ava's stomach dropped. Mother. The word escaped before she could stop it. Alara's eyes softened instantly. The reaction felt genuine. Dangerously genuine. Ava hated that. Because it made everything harder. What aren't you telling us? Alara's expression changed. Sadness. Regret. Fear. Then she whispered. We don't have much time. The chamber trembled. Everyone froze. Dust fell from the ceiling. Captain Rowan drew his sword instantly. What was that? A second tremor followed. Stronger. Much stronger. The warriors spread out. Protective formation. Kale immediately moved closer to Ava. Without thinking, without hesitation, the gesture didn't escape her. Nor did it escape Alara. Interesting. Very interesting. Then a laugh echoed through the chamber. Deep, cold, terrifying. The sound came from the darkness beyond the doorway. Ava's blood turned to ice. Because she recognized that laugh. She had heard it before. Not in reality. In memories. Fragments. Dreams. Nightmares. Alara's face went pale. The former alpha cursed, and for the first time since meeting him, Ava saw genuine fear. Not concern. Not worry. Fear. The darkness shifted. A figure emerged. Tall. Powerful. Silver-eyed. Ancient. Terrible. The moment he stepped into the light, everyone froze. Even Kale. Even Rowan. Even the warriors. The stranger smiled, and suddenly Ava understood why. Because he looked exactly like her. Not similar. Not related. Exactly. The same eyes. The same features. The same silver hair. Impossible. The stranger looked at Ava, then smiled warmly, as if greeting family. Daughter. The word echoed through the chamber. Ava's heart nearly stopped. No, no, no. The man laughed softly. Still causing confusion, Alara? Alara's face hardened. Stay away from her. The stranger ignored her. Instead, he looked directly at Ava. His smile never wavered. Your mother always was dramatic. Ava couldn't breathe. Her gaze moved between them. The woman claiming to be her mother. The man claiming to be her father. Neither dead, neither gone, both standing in front of her. It made no sense. None. Then the stranger sighed, and something in his expression changed. The warmth vanished. Completely. What remained was cold. Terrifying cold. You should have stayed hidden. The words were directed at Alara, not Ava. Alara stepped in front of Ava immediately, protectively. The stranger laughed. Still trying to protect her? Always. The answer came instantly, without hesitation, without fear. Ava felt something break inside her. Because no matter what happened, no matter how angry she was, no matter how confused she felt, that sounded like a mother. A real mother. The stranger's smile disappeared. Then you can die first. The chamber exploded into chaos. The man moved. Faster than anyone should move. Even Kale. Even an alpha. Too fast. A warrior flew across the room. Another crashed into a wall. Captain Rowan shouted orders. Swords flashed. Growls erupted. Battle consumed the chamber. Kale immediately grabbed Ava. Stay behind me. She hated how relieved that made her feel. The stranger laughed again. Untouched? Unharmed? Impossible. Then Alara screamed. Kale! Everyone turned. Too late. Far too late. The stranger's hand shot forward. Not toward Ava. Toward Kale. A silver blade appeared from nowhere. Ancient. Glowing. Deadly. And before anyone could stop him, he drove the blade straight into Kale's chest. Chapter 10. Kale! Ava's scream echoed through the moon tower. Time stopped. Everything stopped. The battle, the shouting, the chaos, all of it. Kale staggered backward, the silver blade buried deep in his chest. Blood stained his shirt. Dark, terrible, too much, far too much. Ava ran to him, ignoring everything else, ignoring everyone else. Nothing mattered except him. Nothing. Kale's knees hit the stone floor. His breathing became ragged. Pain filled his face. But his eyes searched for hers. Only hers. Ava. The sound nearly broke her. No! Tears blurred her vision. No! She dropped beside him. Her hands trembled as she pressed against the wound, trying to stop the bleeding, trying to save him, trying not to fall apart. The stranger laughed. A cold, cruel laugh, pointless. Alara immediately moved between them, her silver eyes glowing. Run! The stranger smiled. You know she can't. The chamber trembled again. Power surged through the air. Ancient power. Old power. The kind that made wolves bow. The kind that terrified everyone present. Ava barely noticed. Because Kale was dying. Right in front of her. No! Her voice cracked. Please. Kale smiled weakly. The sight shattered her heart. Ava, don't talk. His hand found hers. Warm. Shaking. Listen. No. You have to. Tears streamed down her face. She didn't care. Not anymore. For years she had told herself she hated him. For years she had carried anger, pain, resentment. Now none of it mattered. Because the thought of losing him hurt more than everything else combined. Kale looked into her eyes, and finally spoke the truth he had hidden for years. I loved you. The world went silent. Ava froze. Kale swallowed painfully. I loved you from the beginning. A sob escaped her. No. His smile grew sadder. I was a coward. Tears filled his eyes. Something she had never seen before. Never. I thought I could protect you. His voice weakened. I thought pushing you away would save you. Ava shook her head desperately. No. I was wrong. Every word sounded harder. Every breath more painful. I lost 7 years. His fingers tightened around hers. And I regret every one. The chamber blurred completely. Ava could barely see, could barely breathe. Because she knew. Deep inside, she knew. These were goodbye words. And she couldn't accept them. Wouldn't accept them. I love you too. The confession escaped before she could stop it. Raw, honest, real. Kale froze. His eyes widened, then softened. And for the first time since she'd met him, peace appeared on his face. Real peace. The stranger cursed. Suddenly. Violently. Everyone turned. The ancient blade embedded in Kale's chest began glowing. Silver light filled the chamber. Stronger. Brighter. The stranger stepped backward. Fear flashed across his face. Real fear. What? Alara stared, then smiled. A stunned smile. No way. The former alpha laughed. For the first time in hours. A genuine laugh. Of course. Ava looked around wildly. What is happening? Alara's eyes filled with tears. The bond. Ava blinked. What? The mate bond. Alara stepped closer. You never rejected each other. The realization struck instantly. Kale rejected the ceremony. Not Ava. Not truly. Not completely. Their bond had survived. Broken. Wounded. Damaged. But alive. The silver light intensified. The entire chamber shook. The stranger's expression became horrified. No. Alara nodded. Yes. For the first time, the mysterious enemy looked afraid. Truly afraid. Because something was happening. Something he hadn't expected. Something ancient. Something powerful. The light erupted. A wave of energy exploded outward. The stranger screamed. Actually screamed. The sound echoed through the ruins. Cracks spread across the floor. Across the walls. Across the ceiling. The moon tower itself seemed to awaken. The symbols carved into the stone blazed with silver fire. The ancient enemy stumbled backward, then dropped to one knee. Impossible. Ava felt warmth spread through her body. Not pain, not fear. Warmth, love, hope, belonging. The silver necklace around her neck floated into the air, glowing brighter than the sun. Alara smiled through tears. The true heir has returned, the stranger roared. No, but it was too late. The power no longer belonged to him. It never had. That was the truth. The secret hidden beneath centuries of lies. The Valerian bloodline wasn't passed through conquest, or violence, or fear. It awakened through love, through loyalty, through sacrifice. Everything the stranger lacked. The silver light struck him directly. The scream that followed shook the ruins. Then, silence. The enemy vanished. Gone. Like dust carried away by the wind. The battle ended. Just like that. The danger was over. At last. Ava immediately looked down, toward Kale. Fear returned instantly. Because none of that mattered if he died. Kale. Her voice trembled. The silver light surrounded him now. Gentle. Warm. Healing. The wound began closing. Slowly. Then faster. The blood disappeared. The torn flesh healed. The ancient blade crumbled into dust. And Kale inhaled sharply. Alive. 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 Ava burst into tears. Real tears. Happy tears. Relieved tears. The kind she never thought she'd cry again. Kale opened his eyes. The first thing he saw was her. Only her. A smile appeared. Hi. A laugh escaped her through the tears. Hi. Then she hit his shoulder, hard. Kale winced. Ouch. You idiot. Another hit. You absolute idiot. Kale laughed. The sound filled the chamber. Warm. Alive. Perfect. Then, Ava kissed him. Without thinking. Without planning. Without caring who watched. Years of pain vanished. Years of regret vanished. Years of missed chances vanished. Only this moment remained. When they finally pulled apart, Kale rested his forehead against hers. I love you. Ava smiled. I know. 6 months later. Sunlight filled the restored gardens of House Valerian. Children laughed nearby. Flowers bloomed everywhere. Life had returned. Hope had returned. The territories had finally united. Not through war. Not through fear. Through choice. Through trust. Through peace. Ava stood beneath a moon lily tree. The same flowers her mother once loved. Ilara approached quietly, smiling. still getting used to being part of Ava's life, still rebuilding everything they had lost. Thinking? Ava nodded. Always. Alara laughed softly, then looked toward the garden. 3 small children raced through the grass, chasing one another, laughing, happy. Ava smiled instantly. Her children, her beautiful triplets. Lyra, Orion, and Finn, the greatest surprise of her life. Kale appeared seconds later. The children immediately attacked him. Hugs, laughter, questions, chaos. Complete chaos. The mighty Alpha King never stood a chance. Ava laughed, watching him surrender. As usual. Kale finally escaped and walked toward her, one child hanging from each arm, the third riding on his shoulders. Help. Ava smiled. No. Betrayal. Definitely. The children giggled. Kale shook his head dramatically, then looked at Ava, and everything else disappeared, just for a moment. The garden, the noise, the world. Only her remained. The woman he almost lost. The woman he waited 7 years to find again. The woman who taught him courage. The woman who gave him a family. His mate. His queen. His home. Kale smiled. Ava smiled back. And surrounded by laughter, moon lilies, and the family they fought so hard to build, they finally got the happy ending they both deserved. The end.